I was so disappointed in myself, angry that I'd let my life sink so far. I pushed back from my desk and took a deep breath. Suddenly, work didn't matter. Money didn't matter. Even my ex didn't matter. None of it mattered. This was going to be about my son. And the one burning question that remained, would I really do anything for my son? Or was I too weak and pitiful to even put up a fight? My son wanted to be someone other than me, and right then and there, I wanted to be someone else too. In that moment, driven to the breaking point, I swore an oath. I would change my life. I would take control of my health, and I would lose my huge gut and become the man my son needed me to be. And I was going to do it even if it killed me. Now, I had already been on the yo-yo diet cycle for almost 2 years trying to control my weight, so I knew I had to do something unusual if I was going to lose this weight. And I was determined to find out what it was, even if I had to read every medical research paper ever published, buy every book on weight loss, or travel to a distant land to get answers from a guru at the top of a mountain. So I set out like a mad scientist, digging through medical research, profiling strong, healthy humans, and devouring anything I could get my hands on that I thought might provide me with a clue to changing my body. And I found the answer in the most unexpected of places, in a book about cavemen. Now, when I saw this book, a crazy little thought went through my head that sent me down the path to discovering what it really takes to trigger rapid, safe, and permanent weight loss. I'll tell you what that thought was in a minute and why it holds the key to finally sculpting the body you desire. So keep watching. And remember, despite my success today, I'm no different than you. I'm just a guy who stumbled onto a system that always works. A system that forces your body to melt fat for fuel. And when that happens, you can't help but expose the strong body that's been hiding under your flab. This is a system that lets people like us turn on our fat-fighting hormones so that we lose weight quickly, have more energy, and feel greater confidence throughout the day. This is the system that I use to personally lose 31 pounds. And it's the system that I'll be sharing with you so you can finally experience permanent weight loss too. I'll share all the specific details about it in just a few minutes, but first, I need to tell you about the single biggest problem we face in a post-industrial revolution world when we decide we want to lose weight. This is the real, secret reason that you pack on the pounds to begin with, yet most people have no idea it's not their fault. Many people believe that they have to take some kind of pill to lose weight, starve themselves, or avoid their favorite foods. The real problem, though, is that you've been lied to for years. And those lies are keeping you from the body you desire and deserve. One of the lies you've probably believed is that you can't eat your favorite foods, or that you have to exercise for hours each week to see any results, and that's not even close to the truth. If you're one of the millions who fell victim to these lies, then you must decide right now to believe the truth instead, because if you don't, you'll continue to suffer needlessly, grow weary trying to keep up with the extreme diets and workouts until eventually, no matter how strong you are, you'll give up. It may be in a moment of weakness at the grocery store or a quick trip through the drive-through window because you're running late and missed a meal. But whatever it is, and whenever it is, it spells the end of your latest diet and the beginning of your weight climbing a few pounds higher than ever before. Why? Because no human alive can resist the temptation to enjoy their favorite things for the rest of their lives. And I'll tell you why in just a sec. Listen, this is not what I want for you, and I know this is not what you want for yourself. Yet, this is the reason you struggle to lose weight. It's not your fault. If you want to blame something, blame capitalism. Weight management is a $650 billion a year industry. That's big business, and big businesses are run by corporate executives and boards of directors who have a fiduciary responsibility to produce the maximum amount of profit they can for their shareholders who own the company. This means that they can literally go to jail if they neglect that specific duty. And if they ever tell you the truth about how to permanently lose weight without any special equipment, pills, or magic powders, then you'll never buy from them again because you don't need to. And that does not produce the greatest amount of profit possible for their shareholders. So they tell you half-truths, provide disinformation, and spend billions on propaganda campaigns that keep us fat and unhealthy. This way we feel like we have to buy every new gadget they release. The truth is, the key to eliminating fat from your body lies in controlling your hormones by using specific foods at specific times and limiting your exercise. This triggers your body to release a flood of hormones that chemically dissolve fat to be burned as fuel. Now that you know the problem, let's dive into the details. What you're about to see and hear are the exact tips thousands have used to overcome their weight challenges once and for all. And the most important tip for creating a strong, sexy body is getting more rest. And I know that goes against all conventional wisdom, yet you absolutely must do this if you really want to sculpt the lean, toned body you desire. The reason this works to help you lose weight is because of a scientific principle used exclusively in paleo burn called the paleo lifestyle pattern response, which releases a specific hormone that restores the body of your youth. I'll tell you more about that in just a moment. First, let me tell you about the so-called health foods you should only eat if you want to get as fat as a cow. That's because the food I'm talking about is great food for a cow, and you should avoid it at all costs if you ever want to lose weight. Seriously, food manufacturers have done their best to position this as health food for humans. However, the truth is that you must avoid this food at all costs to lose weight. Here's why. It's a well-documented medical fact that when insulin levels are high, your body stores fat. And it's just as well proven that when insulin levels are low, your body burns fat for fuel. Eating this particular food group instantly spikes your insulin levels through the roof, causing your body to grow fatter with every bite. But if you avoid insulin-boosting foods, your body will maintain low insulin levels and you'll naturally melt your fat away and eliminate dips in your energy levels so that you're less tired. Now, despite all the medical research showing these facts and the fact that our population has grown fatter and fatter ever since this food became a major staple in the modern diet, which was after the Industrial Revolution, the U.S. government still teaches Americans that this food group is the foundation of a healthy diet. I'm talking about grains. Yes, even the whole grain health food you hear about everywhere you turn. But the truth is, grains are not human food. They're cattle food. Because in humans, they trigger a spike in insulin and an increase in body fat percentages. That's why I showed you a picture of a cow eating grains earlier. Remember? In cattle, grains produce muscle growth, meaning that we can get more lean meat from each animal for food. In fact, cereals is a very common type of grain and are actually a kind of grass. And I think you already know that our stomachs were not built for eating grass. Yet since the Industrial Revolution, when we started mass producing our food, cereals and other grains have become a staple of the modern diet. And the results are obvious, a population that is growing morbidly obese. The reason why? Our bodies are not designed to eat grains. It spikes our insulin instantly, turning food into fat. So unless you're a cow or you want to become one, then you must avoid grains at all costs to keep your insulin levels low and your body burning fat for fuel. It's really easy to replace them with other carbohydrates that are great for weight loss. I'll tell you how you can get a list of those energy boosting carbs in just a second. And when you remove these from your diet, you'll begin to see a difference in the mirror as your body shape changes and the pounds melt away. You'll also avoid diseases like diabetes, which are caused by keeping your insulin levels too high for too long. And you'll keep your energy levels high. Imagine what that will feel like for a moment. First, within a week from right now, you could feel your energy levels soaring and the dips disappearing. Less than a month from now, you look in the mirror and see a major difference, and you love all the compliments you're getting. That's what happens when you start controlling your hormones. And if you really want to take your results to the next level, here's how. If you do what I'm about to share with you, your body is going to release human growth hormone. The hormone responsible for growing lean muscle, restoring youthful vigor, and repairing damage done by living in a world filled with toxins. As your body releases this hormone, your metabolism picks up so you burn more calories each day, making it that much easier to keep the weight off once you've lost it. And that's all great, but the real reason you're going to love what I'm about to share is that it means you'll spend more time resting and relaxing, especially getting more sleep. Almost all workout programs you see today have you slaving away like a madman in the gym for hours every day, sometimes spending 10 or more hours per week just on exercise, and that doesn't take into account the time you spend doing other things that are actually healthy for you. First off, all that time isn't necessary for great results, but second, and just as important, nobody has that much time to spend working out. Is it any wonder we feel hopeless about our weight sometimes? We're already running around with our hair on fire, stressed out because we have jobs, lives, and families to attend to, and now they tell us that we've got to work out for 10 hours a week? Are they serious? Here's the real problem, though, and the reason why you must avoid this kind of activity at all costs. All that stress, combined with the lack of downtime, does two things that sabotage your weight loss efforts completely. First, the stress of trying to maintain an overloaded schedule causes your body to start dumping a flood of cortisol like opening a fire hydrant full blast. Now, cortisol not only causes cellular damage, but has been directly linked by medical science to growing a big fat belly. In fact, cortisol is actually known as the belly fat hormone, and it gets worse. All that running around without any rest and recovery causes your body to stop producing HGH, the hormone that is known as the fountain of youth. And the very best way to hop off this crazy merry-go-round is to refuse to work out like they tell you to. And you absolutely must start getting the right amount of sleep at the right times, probably more than you're getting now, and waking up at the right time. When you do, your body will shut off the cortisol valve and start dumping loads of HGH into your body, restoring youth, energy, and health to your body while also increasing your metabolism for fast, permanent weight loss. Remember how good you feel right after a good night's rest, knowing that it will help you lose weight and get healthy? Now, picture feeling that way every day, all day long, because you've triggered your body to release a flood of healthy hormones while keeping the bad hormones at bay. That can be your reality by this time next week if you keep watching. Now, here's the most important weight loss tip of all. If you do this wrong, all the other tips will be worthless. It's what I told you about earlier. When you do this, your body will become leaner, stronger, and younger. You'll lose weight effortlessly and marvel that it was ever hard in the first place. And that's the real reason you want to do this, because if you do, weight loss will not be a challenge anymore. What I'm talking about is triggering your body to release a surge of hormones that chemically dissolves fat to be burned as fuel. To do that, you want to exercise for very short periods of time, using specific exercises at just the right level of intensity. Too much and you'll stop making progress. Too little and you'll never get results to begin with. The reason why this works is because it mimics the kinds of activities our ancient ancestors, the cavemen and the cavewoman, followed. Now, remember that crazy thought I mentioned earlier from when I saw that caveman book? Well, that one weird little thought was this: there were no fat cavemen. The bodies of these men and women were lean and hard, sculpted and toned to athletic perfection, just as beautiful to look at as they were good for fleeing from a saber-toothed tiger. And embedded somewhere in every human being's DNA is the primordial code for developing that kind of a body. And when you exercise the same way these primal humans exercised, now they called it fleeing, your body reawakens that ancient DNA by releasing and restraining hormones just the way it has for millions of years dating back to caveman times. Think of it as waking up your inner caveman. Now, when you get this right, your weight loss is rapid, safe, and guaranteed.